November 5th, 1975, a truck with 6 men inside speed through a wooded forest in a frantic panic, in complete disbelief. Could that truly have been a UFO that they witnessed? Did they leave their friend for dead? Would anyone believe their far-fetched tale, or would the men be accused of their friend's disappearance and possible murder? Today, we'll discuss the abduction story of Travis Walton.
Without Josh. Again.
Yeah, without Josh. You know why, Tim? Because Josh had a birthday.
He partied too hard. We warned him.
Way too many Dos Equis.
You got to stop. You can't do it.
He gets back from Guatemala and immediately has a birthday and parties hard. I mean, what's this guy doing?
I
don't even know.
That's fine. We'll get him on next time, right?
By the way, Josh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah, that's true. You're a lovely man. Happy birthday, sir.
Yeah. All right, so let's dive into the story of Travis Walton.
One of my faves.
The morning of November 5th, 1975, started out like any other day for the 21-year-old lumberjack Travis Walton and his 6 co-workers. They were preparing to head up the Apache Sitgraves National Forest near Snowflake, Arizona, to continue their contract work of thinning out the tree line in the Arizona National Forest. After a long, hard work day of physically demanding labor, the 7 men loaded up the truck to call it a day. As night began to settle in while they drove through the national forest, they claimed to have witnessed an eerie yellow light glowing through the timber near the rugged mountain road, and what appeared to be an object hovering just above the tree line, roughly 100 feet in front of them. As the truck came to a jolting stop, ignoring advice from his coworkers, Travis left the truck and ran towards the hovering object, telling the other men that he wanted to get a better look. As Travis stood in awe underneath the craft, a blue beam of light shot out from the craft and hurled Travis 10 feet back, knocking him to the ground unconscious. As his coworkers looked on in complete disbelief to what they had just witnessed, they thought that Travis had been killed. In fear, they quickly fled the scene as they frantically tried to get as much distance between them and the craft. A quarter-mile down the road, they saw the craft take off and disappear into the night sky. A decision was made at that point that they couldn't leave Travis to die. As the men rushed back to the area where Travis was lying, left for dead, he was nowhere to be found. Travis was gone.
Ooh, spooky. Where could Travis be? Dude, that would be so freaking scary.
I mean, picture it. Put yourself in that situation, right?
Can't imagine. First of all, forests in general can be scary alone anyway. You're just, it's like at night, you hear something clattering in the bushes. But if you saw a floating orb and it was just the 5 of you in a truck and you literally saw hovering light, come on, dude. My goosebumps would be so big.
It would be. Like, you'd totally be freaked out. But would you be like Travis or would you be like his coworkers?
I just saw an interview with him and Joe Rogan on YouTube earlier, and he said that he just was so excited. And he was like, wow, this is so cool. I want to get a better look. And he didn't even think about it. He just was like, getting out of the truck, no regret. I'm going to go look at it. Because that's just kind of who he was, I think. So it's just incredible how, I guess, brave whatever he was. But man, not me. I'd be nope.
I don't know. I mean, I think that I would be curious enough to get out. I mean, I really do. You'd want to get a closer look.
I guess.
You and I.
Yeah.
On the top of a hill.
Right.
Coming down that hill at night.
Yeah.
There's an alien spacecraft. I jump out. You see the exact same thing happen to me. I get beamed by a blue light, flew back 10 feet on the ground. Do you get out and come after me? Or do you bolt? Do you leave me?
Oh, no way. Initially, I'm thinking, oh, gosh, he's dead. I killed him. I got to go run and get somebody. I don't know what I would do, Todd. If it was just you and I, first of all, I would probably be in such shock that I'd be questioning my sanity. Seeing it hit you and lift you off the ground like they did, that would just be frightening. I don't even think you could begin to describe how frightening that'd be because you don't know how fast this orb is. And is it going to come for you too? Right? That's the thing you're going to think. Oh my gosh, am I seeing an alien hit my friend? And is it going to come for me? And I don't want it to come for me. I'm out of here. There definitely would be that flight instinct. Like, oh my gosh, especially if you saw it move toward you, or you'd be like, oh, I'm out. I do not want this. I want to live. I want to survive this. Give the benefit of the doubt to the guys there that are with him. If he's the only one that gets out of the truck and goes running off to it, and they're like probably yelling, what are you doing? Get back in the truck.
Yeah.
When that happens to him, do you think the majority of the guys in the car are going to say, oh, no, stay here, let's go out and get him? Or are they going to be like, hell no, drive the car, gun it, get me out of here?
You had 6 other guys in the truck.
They're tired. They just, long day.
Sure. But at the same time, there probably was that back and forth, right? Like you just said, there was probably some of them that are like, get out of here.
He's dead.
He's dead. Let's go. I don't want to die too, bruh.
Any one of us, unless you've actually experienced it, we're all far removed. There's no way we could even understand that type of fear.
No. But of course, too, there were probably others in the truck that were like, we have to stay.
I think the leader of the group was probably like, we got to get him.
A no man left behind type thing. I'm responsible for you. You're on my crew.
But at the same time, he's got the peer pressure to get me out. Everybody's yelling at him. Put your foot on that pedal. Get us out of here.
Do I risk the 6 of us to try to save Travis or go get him? Or do I save the other 5 that are with me?
They definitely needed to get out of there first.
I mean, at that particular time with that thing happening right in front of them, I don't think rational thought is there anymore. I mean, I think you're reacting.
You're
reacting to a situation.
Go.
Yeah. You save yourself.
All right. So you're going back to
part of the story here.
Yeah.
The men rushed back to town to tell the authorities that Travis was taken by a UFO and was gone. The authorities were skeptical of their story and believed that the 6 men had most likely murdered Travis due to an altercation that happened earlier in the day. With no concrete evidence that a crime had actually taken place, all the authorities could do was proceed with their investigation and wait.
I mean, what would you think if you were a cop in a small town? You know these guys. I bet you some of them were ruffians, because they kind of portray that in the film. There's a little bit of that.
You're talking Arizona, that sheriff was most likely probably a tough, rough guy.
Come on now, you boys. A UFO? You gotta be kidding me. UFO? Hey, Gary, these boys seen a UFO out there in the woods. Okay, boys, what'd you really do? When I was getting my pie at the diner, you guys came in. I could have swore I heard you arguing over at your table. You guys were over there talking about who was going to run the big chainsaw today, and Travis got up and spilled his soup on you. I seem to remember you saying, I'm going to kill you, Travis. Right, Terry?
I heard it verbatim, sir.
I heard you say it.
Sir, he did say it, sir. I heard it, and I wrote it down in my journal.
And now they're telling us there's a UFO in the woods, Jerry. Gary, which are you?
These boys is crazy, sir.
You murder old Travis. Why'd you do that over some soup? Get out of here with that UFO nonsense.
We all know that's nonsense, boys. There ain't no thing as a UFO.
And if there was, they sure hell wouldn't be visiting our national forest.
Sir, they could have been looking for lightning that strikes dirt. It's a special mineral that the lightning creates.
Barry, do me a favor and shut up, okay?
You know our national forest has a lot of lightning, and that lightning sometimes creates that weird dirt we see. Now, what if they were looking for that dirt?
Well, that doesn't even make any sense at all. Aliens looking for a special mineral. Come on. Barry, I'm not going to tell you again. You shut your damn mouth, okay?
Okay.
We're looking at a murder investigation.
Travis, I believe you. I believe you, boys. I believe you, boy. I believe Travis is gone. He's on a planet, some far, far away planet right now.
Okay, I'm done. As far as I can take that. So these men, they're like, you got to believe us, man.
You know they are. You know they're losing their minds.
Yeah, and I mean, small town cops.
Yeah, you got a small town cop that doesn't understand this at all. You know what I mean? Like, he's used to dealing with domestic things and Jerry
Cats
getting
out
too
of
drunk
trees.
down at the bar. Yeah, I mean, that's what he's used to doing, and every once in a while, there's probably something crazy.
But this is like, what?
Come
Guys,
on,
don't
guys.
do this. Don't make me go get Terry and do good cop, bad cop. We'll do it. We'll do it for a week. That's what it takes.
Boys, this is how it's going to play out. You guys are going to be in a cold room with a metal table. I'm going to walk
That's
in,
right.
turn a chair around backwards, sit on it backwards.
That's right.
Then we're going to have a conversation. And then when I get up and pound my fist on the table, you know I'm mad and I want the truth.
You know. I'm going to leave the room, and that's when Terry comes in. He gonna treat you nice.
Terry going to bring you a pack of smokes and a box of matches.
Now, you know we love you. He's going to get out there, massage your shoulders, get you nice and cozy. Get that nicotine flowing in your blood.
That's right. You guys want a cup of coffee?
Want a cup of coffee, guys?
Now tell me what happened.
Oh, man, that would have been a debacle. The great thing, news would have been all over it, just like it happens. Dale Jerkins here. Here in Arizona, men who told us they have lost their buddy due to an alien abduction. Now tell me, what did you see out there? What have you heard?
Well, I tell you what I did hear was Travis was banging Mike's sister, and he wasn't down for that. So he took that boy up in the woods, murdered him. Now, I got evidence to prove this. It's not with me right now. I got to go find it, but...
So you believe that Travis was murdered? All right, back to you. I don't know. Oh, man, that's funny. As soon as this hit the news, it was like the news's entertainment piece for the week. The disappearance of Travis Walton, that kind of news was probably good for a good week. Still, the disappearance of Travis Walton is a big question on everybody's mind over in Arizona, right?
Right, exactly. All right, let's dive back into this story. Days following the disappearance of Travis, an extensive search with scent dogs and helicopters was put together to comb the national forest for any sign of Travis, dead or alive. As each day passed, there was no sign of Travis, and the authorities began to zero in closer on his co-workers in an attempt to get them to admit that they, in fact, had something to do with Travis's disappearance. The men were given polygraph tests to determine if there was any sign of dishonesty so that they could narrow in their investigation and shift the investigation into a case of homicide. All of the men passed their polygraph test except one that was determined inconclusive. Yet, without a body or physical evidence of foul play, the investigators were at a standstill. Now, this I wanted to ask you about. Polygraph tests. They're looking for signs of dishonesty, which are basically elevated heart rate and fidgeting and all these kind of things. And this machine is supposed to monitor that and then indicate when somebody's being distruthful.
They still use them today?
They do. They do use them today. The one thing I have heard about polygraph tests, though, and especially when you listen to like a lot of crime stories and, you watch all these documentaries, is they say don't do them. Because think about it. If you're now being interrogated by a police officer and you're nervous and you don't know what to do and they've had you in a room for 12 hours. So now they're going to would you take a polygraph test? And you say yes. So now they immediately move you over to take the polygraph test. You're nervous. You're automatically nervous. So the second that thing...
Perhaps for the first hour, but then in the second hour, maybe you're like, oh, look, I didn't do it. I didn't kill him.
But that's the thing, though, is these tests, if they show any sign of dishonesty, any level of not being honest,
it gives them oh, no, there it is.
These polygraph tests are not admissible in a court of law. However, they can make you a main subject of the investigation. That can lead investigators down the wrong trail.
Maybe you'd be at that point going, okay, well, maybe I got to, as a cop, you'd go, I believe him. I don't know. I guess they must be telling the truth. And is that what happened? Or were they still going, no, we believe you guys did it. You may have beat that machine, but we think you still did it. There's no doubt.
I think so. The authorities are saying, listen, guys, maybe you passed this test. However, you were the last ones to see Travis Walton. Where is he? We're going to talk about Travis's return.
Yes.
Yes. In the early morning of November 10th, 5 days after the disappearance of Travis Walton, the phone would ring at Travis's brother's house. To their surprise, when the phone was answered, it was Travis's voice on the other line. He was alive and on the side of the road near Heber, Arizona, at a payphone about 30 miles away from where he went missing.
Question.
Yes.
Could one walk from said forest 30 miles away without being detected?
Especially when everyone was looking for you.
Everyone was looking for him. He's in the news. If he would have done it or gone on like faked everybody and done it himself, that's a long way to walk without getting seen.
You also have to keep into consideration, if his coworkers were all part of this, they could have picked him up. They could have dropped him in Heber.
Sure.
He could have already been there.
Okay. Still.
Possible.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so he's at this payphone. He calls his brother. Imagine, okay, so this has happened, right? Your brother's like, what happened to Travis? And then one morning he calls you. You hear your brother's voice again, must have been something. Oh, honey, hold on. I'm going to get the phone. Must be one of those prank calls from the kids. Hello?
Brother?
Who is this?
Brother, this is Travis.
No way. Travis? My brother? Where have you been? We have been looking for you for 5 days.
Come get me.
Where are you?
I'm in Heber.
We're coming right now. We're going to get you. Just stay there. Honey, grab the kids. Grab the kids. We're going. Travis, stay there. Don't move. Don't move. We want to hear everything. Can you remember where you were? Forget it. Just wait. Hold on. We'll get there. You just stay there.
Brother? Brother? Should I hang up, brother? I'm cold and wet, brother. Why am I in Heber? No one goes to Heber.
Oh, yeah, and nobody goes to Heber.
No one goes to Heber.
Nobody goes to Heber.
Okay, listen. If you're in Heber listening to this, and
yeah,
hopefully we're pronouncing the name of the town right.
I don't even know if it's probably like Heber or something.
Yeah, if you are in Heber listening to this, I'm sure it's a lovely town. We're having fun with
we
the
just
story.
Want to have a little fun. I'm sure you're great. So shout out to Heber, Arizona, everybody.
I'm sure Heber, Arizona actually blew up after the story with all the UFO enthusiasts.
Everybody's like, yeah, no, and that payphone's still there.
Wait, that payphone?
Oh, wait, don't say it blew up. I'm sure don't say anything about blowing up. Because then who knows? We'll be in the news tomorrow. And interestingly enough, the Travis Walton payphone that famously was where he was found in Heber, Arizona, has blown up today. For those of you wondering what the heck we're talking about, we did a podcast on the Georgia Guidestones. And would you know it? I said, wow, hey, the Georgia Guidestones are going to blow up after this because we're talking about them. And I didn't mean literally. I didn't want them to blow up. But sure enough, in the news, what happened, Todd?
2 days later, someone attempted to blow up the Georgia Guidestones.
So I don't know. It wasn't us.
I
have alibis.
Yep.
But weird.
Totally
So
weird.
we just hope that nothing happens in Heber, Arizona after this podcast.
Please leave
Let's
the
just have a
payphone alone.
normal day. Yeah, leave the payphone alone, dude. What happened, Todd, when they got to the payphone? What happened?
Travis claimed that he awoke inside the craft in a room that appeared to resemble a hospital room. He stated that when he awoke, he was being observed by 3 short, bald creatures. Travis said that he fought the creatures until another being entered the room that looked very much like a human, wearing a helmet that led him to another room where he began to black out as 3 other human-looking beings put a clear plastic mask over his face. In other stories about Travis Walton's encounter on the ship, that these human beings almost looked Nordic.
It would be so disorienting. I mean, wouldn't it? I mean, you wake up, who knows whether or not gravity is the same? Like, are we walking around? I mean, I guess there is some sort of allusion to that, but I do feel like you would have a little bit of space legs. These other beings who use this craft all the time have no problem, can go right up to you, grab you, throw you on a table, apparently, and start working on you.
Right. And Travis, when he first woke up on the craft, he was really struggling to breathe. The air felt thicker. It felt more like almost water. He was struggling to breathe.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And when these human beings walked him to that other room, he said when he entered that other room, the air was fresh. He could breathe just fine. Those human looking people that had the helmet, that helmet might have been an apparatus for them to breathe properly.
Interesting. Wow, that's so crazy.
Also, Travis recalls, they forced me down on the table, but I lost consciousness, and the next thing I remember is waking up on the highway. Travis would go on to say, I don't know how much time had gone by, but later I found out it was 5 days and 6 hours. I was badly injured and could feel the cold pavement, but my clothes were warm. I saw the disc shoot off into the sky, and then saw the lights over Heber. In 1978, Travis would pen an autobiographical paperback titled The Walton Experience, in which he details his firsthand recollection of his abduction that took place over those 5 days back in November 1975. The book would be adapted into a film in 1993 called Fire in the Sky. Travis would later state, I was awestruck and entranced by the beauty of the thing. I thought it would take off, but it didn't. And I didn't appreciate the danger I was in.
He said something to the fact of the films and or documentaries that have asked me how did the light look, they have not been able to recreate the look of this glow that was around the forest. The glow was otherworldly.
So there was no comparison. He couldn't compare that glow to something else that we know.
Which I thought was a really interesting thing. I'd never heard that. And I was like, wow, it must have been amazing. That's why you would be even drawn to it. Every time somebody tries to recreate it, it just never looks good. It never looks like what the original was.
Wow. Apparently, Travis struggled quite a bit after this incident. And, he went on record to say that my way of handling the abduction has been to kind of push this thing into the background. For a long time, I wouldn't talk about it with the media. We never discussed it around the house. And that's interesting, isn't it? Like,
he went through something.
That's what I'm saying. If you're that traumatized, you're not seeking attention. Now, that's his claim, right? His claim was that in this statement that he wasn't seeking attention and that it was very difficult for him. Now, there has been a decent amount of scrutiny. Over the years, since Travis's claim of alien abduction, there have been many that have scrutinized his story and declare that the story was nothing more than a hoax, fabricated to bring notoriety, fame, financial gain to those involved. Skeptics include the story as an example of a UFO hoax promoted by a media circus, resulting as a publicity exploit by Travis to make money. UFO researcher Philip Klaus agreed that Travis's story was a hoax, perpetuated for financial gain. Klaus reported many discrepancies in the accounts of Travis and his coworkers. He went on to state that the polygraph tests initially conducted were poorly administered, that Travis used polygraph countermeasures, such as holding his breath. Here's what's tough about this, is that as we continue on talking about some of these skeptics, their main focus that they keep going back to is a polygraph test, that he passed the polygraph test. Now, we just said earlier on that a lawyer today would tell you to say no to a polygraph test. They would say 100% say, I want my lawyer, no to a polygraph.
Right. Now, I now know that. I don't know if I'd have known that an hour ago, but I know that now.
You know what? Everyone out there listening, ask for your lawyer. Don't take a polygraph.
I believe this, old man. I believe this actually happened. And there are 7 people that could say, no, I was there.
You're saying that you believe the story so far. You're saying that you're in.
Boy, what are you about to tell me? You about to blow my mind, dude.
Maybe. I wasn't aware of this until I started doing research for this podcast. In the days following Travis's UFO claim, the National Enquirer awarded Travis and his coworkers a $5,000 prize for Best UFO Case of the Year.
I mean, okay. I'm sure everybody was offering them something. Come to our convention center here in November. We want to talk to you. We'll give you $50.
Yeah, but that's the thing is we kind of go back to that thing of financial gain. When we talked about this in previous podcasts.
Was the juice worth the squeeze? Maybe. I don't know if it was. And now everybody in town thinks you're crazy. Would that be worth it? Supposedly, Travis's friend, the guy who led the crew, didn't even talk to people for like 10 years. He just like lived up in a that wouldn't be worth.
Right. And parents are going to say, you can't play with Travis Walton's children. He's the crazy guy that claimed to be abducted by a UFO, right? So there's a lot that would go into just making this type of bold claim to maybe make what?
A couple thousand. It doesn't make sense.
The sheriff of Navajo County, Arizona, would go on record to allege that Travis, his older brother, and their mother were all lifetime students of UFOs. Okay.
All right.
Okay. I like UFOs, but I'm not sitting around making up a story that I was abducted.
That could be their opinion too. So what?
There was a science and skeptic writer named Michael Sherman who criticized Travis's claim, saying, I think the polygraph is not a reliable determiner of truth. I think Travis Walton was not abducted by aliens.
Your opinion. Okay. Next.
The
guys went through something. They experienced a whole town coming at them for a week saying they did it. And then he shows up randomly in another town 30 miles away. I don't know. That seems pretty amazing to me.
Now, here's one thing that I found very interesting in my research. There was a cognitive sociologist named Susan Clancy who proposed that Travis was likely influenced by the NBC television movie, The UFO Incident, which aired 2 weeks before his own claimed abduction and dramatized the alien abduction claims of Barney and Betty Hill.
Did she sit down with him and like talk with him and say, oh, no, you were just influenced by this NBC television movie, weren't you? I doubt it. She's just making an assumption. She wasn't there. She doesn't know.
I think at that time, people scrutinized this so badly because if you were out of the norm in any way, if you didn't fit in society properly, you were causing issues. This is just coming out of the hippie movement and the Vietnam War and mass drug use in the United States. Some of these people who are a sociologist and a scientist and, a sheriff.
Sound of the earth people, they wouldn't want to believe in you. It ruins their paradigm.
It does ruin their paradigm, and they don't want to believe it.
They're going to tell everybody else, no, it's okay. Nothing happened.
This is also probably these people's 15 minutes of fame as well, without sounding crazy and agreeing to the story.
Sure. Maybe I can get more if I validate this. Well, then I'm going to sound really weird. So I better go with the flow and go with my gut.
Let's talk about some of these people, right? You had a sheriff in one of my examples. You had a scientist in one of my examples. You had a sociologist in one of my examples. All very stern professions that would be ousted if they even laid claim that this may hold some level of truth.
Yeah. Did you hear Susan? Oh my gosh, Susan Clancy. Did you hear what she said about the Travis? She thinks the guy's for real. Can you imagine the backlash poor Susan Clancy would have? They'd be like, oh yeah, don't go to her cognitive psychology therapies. I'm sure that's a real fun time. A science and skeptic writer. Of course, when you have me as skeptic writer, oh yeah, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a science skeptic writer. Well, all right. So yeah, everything that comes across your table.
Your job is to disprove everything.
Everything. So there you've got me there. And Navajo County, Arizona. Okay, so what? Who cares? They were students of UFOs. Well, so what? I think we all were a little curious about it. So what? Does that mean that I want to be abducted, or I'm going to come up with some crazy story and run through the forest for 30 miles? I don't think so. This is a very interesting story. It always has been interesting to me and creeped me out ever since I heard about it. It's pretty amazing.
Tim.
Yes, Todd?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, I'm ready for the question. What's the question?
Do you believe that Travis Walton was actually abducted by aliens?
This is one that I go, unless I hear otherwise, unless I hear something that comes out, it's like, oh, you turkey. I actually think this man was abducted, and I do think he was gone for 5 days on a UFO. I actually do believe that. Am I in trouble?
No.
For believing that, Todd?
Out of all the stories that we know of alien abductions, this is the most famous and the most documented, that it would also be the most scrutinized.
Sure.
Doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means that people have formed an opinion that, they may not believe. Well, Tim, let me wrap this up with my thoughts.
Yes, Todd. Tell me your thoughts. Your deep and wonderful thoughts.
You want to hear my thoughts, Tim?
I do.
Here they go. Ever since the 1950s, people have made claims of being abducted by aliens. UFO sightings are actually depicted on ancient ruins throughout the world. Even ancient texts make mention of vimanas, or flying chariots. The stories are as old as time itself. Could Travis and his counterparts have made the whole story up for attention and possible financial gain? That is definitely a possibility. However, for 7 men to stay true to their story for nearly 50 years and never deviate is quite impressive. The scrutiny that would coincide with their claim would, in my opinion, be too unimaginable to maintain over the years. At some point, you would think one of the men would eventually break and reveal it was all a hoax. To this date, that hasn't happened. This is either an authentically documented UFO abduction or an elaborate hoax that has convinced millions of people that it's true. Either way, I for sure am intrigued. What do you think? Was Travis Walton the most convincing case of a real alien abduction, or simply a fabricated hoax that may never be revealed? Leave us a comment on wherever you're listening to this episode, or head over to our socials at Created by Human and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
If there's a UFO, will you abduct Todd and I tonight?
Yeah, please come on by.
We just want to know what it's like. I mean, we're gonna have a little bit of fear to get over, but if you're nice and cool, like we'll just hop on. We'll just use the stairs. No need to knock us out.
Yeah, don't knock us out. Just invite us aboard.
Get on, and we'll bring like our podcast gear, and we'll chat with you.
Yeah, we'll podcast with you. Back to Tim's podcast in outer space.
That's right.
Love you, buddy.
Okay, love you, buddy.
Buddy, I love you so much. I love you so much.
No, I love you.
Dude,
All right, goodbye, everybody.
I love you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Be sure to subscribe to the Created by Human podcast. Leave us a review. Follow us on our socials at Created by Human. Head over to createdbyhuman.com for additional information. Sign up on our mailing list and check out our Created by Human swag. Does it just sound like gibberish? We'll be back next week with an all-new story that is sure to make you question, is it true or was it?
Created by Human